Hey guys, what's going on? Andrew coming at you. I would like to do this video on the first and only case of the coronavirus in Sweden and the growing number of cases throughout Europe. It's still a low number, but I still wanted to give my thoughts on this. What I see are some positive things that we already have in Sweden that could help us again, fight this outbreak if it comes to Sweden. But there are some things I'm concerned about. I don't want to be a fear mongering person, so I'm going to try to stick with the facts. At this point, we're just under 25,000 infected in China. However, from what I understand, we're limited to the amount of tests that we can give, so that number might be much, much higher. And on top of that, there's a lot of people as well that they get sick, but they're not even that sick, so they don't know they have the virus, or they don't even have any symptoms at all, but they might possibly be able to spread it to other people. The first person in Sweden got sick in Jönköping, or the only person now that got sick was in Jönköping. They had a direct connection with the Wuhan area, and they supposedly went home, from what I saw in the article, and self-quarantined themselves at home, which was really good. And when they got sick, they actually called the hospital. They didn't go to the hospital, which is really good, so not older or people would get sick. So that's well done by that person. We had our first human-to-human transmission of people that were not directly related to the Wuhan area in Germany. And that is maybe not the best thing that we know it can spread person to person, but that's something that happens with influenza viruses. So that's not shocking anyway, but it does seem to be quite contagious how fast it popped up around the world. It's very, very good that it's not super serious for the majority of people, but the risk that it has to countries' medical systems is if enough people get sick that they go to the hospital, it can cause problems where you don't have enough people to treat them, and then people might die of the virus, or they might die of other things at the hospital because there's not enough staff, or basically people might die of things that they would normally not die of just due to that. So it's not a majority of that's the risk, really. I don't know if Europe and the United States has the same risk as China as far as that goes. I believe that we have a better medical system overall, but a lot of medical places in Europe, United States, they're running at maybe 85, 90%, 95% capacity at times. So it could be stress. Luckily, though, we have the time to prepare for it and learn the symptoms of it. And just having that extra time to prepare is really good. But I do have some questions. Now, the first question I have is the person that came from Sweden, or the person that was in Sweden that got infected. What I asked, and look, the article didn't answer this, so if you know the answer, please tell me. I thought, okay, it's great that they quarantined themselves at home, but how did they get here? They had to fly on an airplane, I'm guessing, and they had to go through a major airport. Okay. They had to take a bus or train or drive. So if they use public transportation and an airplane, that it seems quite unlikely that they didn't have contact with somebody. I'm not saying anyone got sick. I'm just saying it's something I think about. Also, if they traveled and came back, did they not need food? How did they deal with the food situation? Did they go to the store and then stay home and wait? So I think it's very unlikely that this person didn't have any contact with any other people. I think it's a small chance that they did. And so what I think overall is I'm not trying to spread fear again, but I think we have to look and see in the next 2 weeks what happens. I think the next 2 weeks is super critical for pretty much the rest of the world, United States and Europe. What's going to happen here? Are we going to have more infections? My prediction is I do believe we are going to have more infections in Europe and in the United States. I believe we'll probably have more in Sweden at some point, just based on what I said before. Hopefully, it's not a large number, and hopefully we can still contain the virus. I fear that maybe we're going to reach a point here soon where we won't be able to contain it, and we're going to have to more focus on just getting people prepared for it, and then getting our medical systems prepared for it. Then that's just basically based on how easily it seems to spread, and that some people aren't sick, they just don't know they're sick, and then also that a lot of times influenzas or just the flu seems to be easy for people to catch. I know it's not the exact same kind of a virus, but it tends to be something that's contagious and that people get, and then it just happens to go around, and it just might have to be something that has to go around for all of us. Some positive things though about the Swedish system that I think helps us. I think in Sweden, if you start to feel sick, you stay home. That's something that Sweden's really good about. People encourage it. Hey, you don't feel good, stay home. Don't get anyone else sick. So that's fantastic. I also think Swedes overall have really great hygiene and are healthy. So that means that a lot of people in Sweden are probably not a threat. But also, you have to be concerned about the elderly, for example, and people that are sick. Because if you have a pre-existing condition, that's when it can be a little bit more serious. So what I'm hoping that Europe can do and the rest of the world can do is we need to get more testing kits. We need to get some kind of testing kit in every hospital in the world. I know that sounds like a crazy thing, but everybody has to have the way to test it, because if you can catch it early enough and get people away, you're going to limit the amount of people that were infected, which is just awesome if we can limit it. So let's wait and see. But like I said, I suspect it's going to go up for a period of time. I think the next month or two, we'll probably still have, at least the next month, we're going to probably still have the number of cases going up. It might take us 2 or 3 months to start getting that in the other direction. But I am hopeful that we caught it early enough. But just based on the way it's spreading, I'm not entirely convinced on that. But I do not think the world's not coming to an end. I'm not saying anything like that. But it's definitely something I'm closely watching and concerned about, because I hope that we can find a cure for it soon. I hope we can find a treatment for it soon. I've heard they're using some type of HIV drugs right now that are helping people. So we'll have to wait and see. So if you like this kind of content, like if you think that I should continue to keep talking about this or talking about current event stuff in Sweden, please let me know by hitting that like button or leaving a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hej då.